Hey guys, welcome back. Round two. I'm not sure what happened during that last live, but the audio and video was very splotchy, so you were hearing every other word. So I wanted to make sure I redid it so you didn't wonder whether or not this was someone from space that was coming to you. So tonight I'm going to continue speaking to you guys from the book Three Steps to a Strong Family, and I wanted to. Hi Diego, thank you for joining. I wanted to just reference that the author is Linda and Richard Erie. Stephen Covey is a supporter of this particular book. Welcome and thank you for joining, Diego. So tonight, what I'd like to speak on is the practice of law and peace with your children. We had been speaking on different methods and things that, as parents, you should incorporate with your children. And I feel like a lot of the practices that I've been speaking on goes not just for children and parents, but it also goes for the adults as well in their everyday living. So I'm going to touch on just a couple of points that he mentions from this book, and then I'm going to read you a short story that just ties it all together so you can understand what that looks like. First of all, let me just say that nothing makes a family work better than incorporating peace in their household. What does that bring? It brings calmness. It just brings everything together, and everyone gains a better understanding between each other and stay to help them stay on track to exactly where they need to go. There's more clarity. There's greater communication when everyone is peaceful in the household. In an atmosphere of peace, children, they often become very cooperative, and they're also very loving because they see that respect. We spoke on respect last night. They'll notice that once respect is given and they've earned it, and it goes both ways, and everyone begins to foster that improved relationship together as a whole. It also helps them to become more loving because now they feel that they have someone that's on their side and not someone that's retaliating against them or punishing them every single moment that they get for something that they've done incorrectly. In an atmosphere of peace children become more cooperative and loving. Just something to keep in mind. So an example that I wanted to share with you is that what happens when everyone in the household is angry, right? You're angry at your children, you're angry at your spouse, even outside of the household, when you're angry at people at your job, you're angry at the world, you're angry at everything. What happens? It takes away from all that, what do I hear people call it? The Zen. Takes you out of that Zen state, that peace of mind that you really need to think correctly. Hi Norita, thank you so much for joining. Welcome. So it shifts your whole mental process when you become angry. Because number one, your thoughts are not going to flow in the direction that you expected them to flow. Right? The constructive things you are going to say, now if you get angry and your temperature rises and your stress level goes up, your body gets heated, now all of a sudden you've just thrown yourself completely off track to understanding exactly where you need to be. So anger does not foster anything, especially when it comes to caring for your children. You want to make sure that you're always maintaining that peace in your heart, regardless of what the storm looks like on the outside. That's going to be super, super important, right? So hard as it is, I'm just going to encourage you to remain calm. I know on a few occasions I spoke with you guys on the incident I had when I almost missed the cruise ship. And I told it in length, and I'm not going to bore you with that story again. But the bottom line was I was going to miss the ship, and there were summons in my luggage off the ship. They said that you can't find your documents, so you can't say. But God gave me such a peace that I couldn't explain. And I had a friend with me, and she really, it was just off the other end because she could not understand why this wasn't flowing together at the time. So they gave her an option of going on the ship without me, and that's the decision that she made. I told her, I said, I'll be fine either way. And when she went on the ship, as she was entering the ship, she saw the confusion that took place with our luggage. And my luggage was not where they expected it to be able to pull it off the ship. So what did that do? It delayed the ship even more and bought me more time as far as getting everything situated at the dock. But I kept telling the people that were working, I said, listen, I don't know how many ways to explain this to you, but I'm going on this cruise today. Whether you see that or not, And of course, that was the bottom line. I ended up going on a cruise, but I had such a peace in my heart. And the Lord speaks about giving you that peace that surpasses all understanding. That was something I could not explain. You have to experience it for yourself. And it's the same peace that I share here. When you have a practice of law of peace in your household, your children are going to understand the behavior. And when they're placed in a different environment where there's no peace, it will make so much more sense to them, and they'll be able to flow much easier, even if they get into a situation where things are upside down, so to speak. So it's nice to have it start at home so that they know how to handle the situations when they're faced outside of the home, because it's not going to always be the same, right? So I'm going to share a story with you, but before I do that, I want to just say that talk your way through. He suggests in this book to talk your way in advance to your day, and just create that mental note as to how you perceive your day to be. Let's say, for example, your children have a day off from school, and you're trying to incorporate some form of a schedule with them. You might want to think of when is sleep time, when is eat time, when is play time. If they're younger, of course. If they're older, maybe you're going to spend some time at the movies with your teenagers, or I don't know, at the park. He's suggesting to scribe something out in your mind ahead of time, so that as you're going through the day, you can it may not go exactly as you wrote it out, or you took that mental note, but you'll have an overall idea to place your mind in the right state that it needs to be in, so that when any unforeseen circumstances occur, you'll know how to handle them accordingly. All right? So remain calm in spite of the storm that's ahead of you. And you guys very well know we have a storm going on right now, just in case you were still asleep. So how you're currently dealing with this particular storm is going to make and improve and make a bigger and better you. So I'm going to read this story directly from the book under Practicing the Law of Peace. It's just a story about a child that went shopping in a supermarket with her mom. And I'm going to just read it verbatim so you can understand how this all ties in. I heard a story that made the point. A man shopping in the neighborhood grocery store noticed a woman pushing a grocery cart with a howling 2-year-old seated in the cart's infant seat. He became involved in the unfolding drama as he watched her walk down the aisle. He heard her say in a low, calm voice, "Now, Jessica, it's not so bad. We've just got a few more things to find and we'll be on our way." The weeping and wailing could be heard all over the store, and he noticed her again at the dairy case. She was placidly saying, "Jessica, it really isn't that painful. You can make it for just a few more minutes, can't you? You're almost finished." The man watched the mother go through the checkout stand with her child, still sniffling and whining, and couldn't resist the urge to speak to her on the way out. "I just have to tell you," he said, as the automatic doors flew open, "how impressed I am with the way you speak to your child." She looked confused for a moment and then smiled and said, "Oh, there's something you should know. I am Jessica." So the mom basically, in spite of the 2-year-old's fussing and whining through the store, just such a sweet, small voice, said to her, "Everything is going to be okay." The one example I can give you is, and I share this often with people, I don't know if you notice the same. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you call for a paramedic and you have injury or something at the home, or you're out in public and the paramedics come. Do you ever notice how calm they are? They are so calm. Now, I'll have to tell you that if they weren't calm and you are just raving and going all over the place, how would it be if you have two angry parties at the same time? Nothing will get resolved. So they're trained to be that way. But I just have to tell you, I feel like they've just selected a special group of guys and gals that are part of that particular team, because they have such a way of softening the environment when it comes to a very frightening situation. Because when accidents happen, it's not necessarily the most peaceful thing, but they're trained to keep us very calm, and that's just such a beautiful thing. So let me go ahead and just share a couple of additional points with you. You'll never find peace of mind unless you listen to your heart. I always speak about the gut being that second intuition. It always tells you what you're supposed to do, and it keeps you safe in the points of storms that are happening around you. That's why I always encourage you, never look ahead of what's going on. If you look ahead, you'll see all the storms coming, and it will frighten you half to pieces. Look up and just ask God to guide you along the way. Do not let the behaviors of others destroy your inner peace. Oftentimes you'll hear someone say, he made me do it, or she made me do it. No one ever make you do anything. Just always remember that. All right. So whatever it is the space that you're trying to foster and keep, you can still do that no matter what else is happening around you. Of course, it's not an easy thing to do. You really, really have to work a little bit at it, especially if you're someone that has a temper or get angry very easily. Something for you to actually work on, right? Peace is a result of restraining your mind to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be. Life as it is rather than as you think it should be. So I'd like to read the scripture to you. And it says, it's from Isaiah 41:13. It says, "For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help. I will help you." So when you have that assurance from God, why is it that we have to concern ourselves with anything that's going to happen otherwise? And here's another scripture. It says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give you as the world gives you. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." And that is from John 14:27. Remember, guys, you cannot have fear and faith occupying the same space. It's like you can't have hot and cold. If you had a boiling pot of hot water and you put cold ice cubes in there, what's going to happen? Right? It will not occupy the same space. So try to keep that in mind. Maintain the peace that you know, that inner calmness, that inner peace. Diego, you know all about that. Keep that inner peace and just find out how well it's going to restore your mind, your soul, and your physical body. All right, guys? So one last thing I want to share with you, and then I'll let you go. When we feel anxious and afraid, we can take comfort in knowing that God is reaching out his hands to us to help us trust him and walk with him. While anxiety can feel overpowering or terrifying, we should not fear, but rather trust in the perfect and never-ending love and the peace of God. All right, so with that, I'm going to end. My name is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. You can find me on Holistic Wellbeing at Gmail, and Holistic is spelled WHOLELISTIC, Wellbeing. And there you can find out why I'm so passionate about what I do. But I've been touching on the subject of children in the household because you all have more time than ever to foster a very strong and nourishing and nurturing relationship with your children, regardless of their age. So if you love what you heard tonight, please share it with a friend or a family member and click the love button, and also type your comments. I would love to hear them. But outside of that, I will be back again tomorrow to share some more exciting information from this book with you. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Diego, thank you so much for joining. Narita, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining. You guys have a fantastic evening. I'll see you back again here tomorrow. Take care. Ciao.